The vast galactic empire, known across many star systems for its power and unyielding rule, had finally turned its attention to Earth. For years, Earth had remained isolated from the grand struggles of the cosmos, wrapped in its own problems. In conflicts, unaware or unwilling to engage with the forces beyond its blue skies. But the Empire was patient and relentless, and now, its immense fleet assembled at Earth's doorstep sent a clear message, a message that echoed through every broadcast, every communication channel, every screen that humanity could see. The ultimatum was simple and terrifying: surrender unconditionally. Accept the Empire's rule without question or face total destruction. The demand was not open for debate or negotiation. The Empire's cold voice carried an unmistakable threat, and the clock was ticking. Across the planet, governments scrambled to respond, but their internal struggles and disagreements only made their task harder. Nations that had once been enemies found themselves forced into uneasy alliances. But old wounds ran deep, and the threat was almost too big for them to grasp. Meanwhile, the people of Earth watched with growing fear as the Empire's colossal warships darkened the skies, their enormous shapes blotting out the sun over many cities.
Ow.
These ships were unlike anything humanity had ever seen: massive, silent, and deadly, carrying weapons that could erase entire regions in moments. Earth's defenses, though brave and well-equipped by human standards, looked fragile and outdated against this overwhelming force. Leaders met behind closed doors, debating the impossible choice between surrender and annihilation, while the rest of the world held its breath, waiting for a sign, a miracle, anything that might change the course of this looming disaster. Yet amid this growing panic, something strange began to happen. Whispers started to spread among the people, rumors of a secret hidden deep within Earth's history, a secret so powerful it had remained buried and forgotten for generations. This secret, known only to a few, was the last hope for humanity. This was a force the Empire did not know about, something ancient and mysterious that could change everything. Scientists and scholars, once dismissed as dreamers or conspiracy theorists, suddenly found their research sought after with urgency. Hidden facilities around the world, long abandoned or concealed, became the focus of desperate activity. The secret was connected to a technology or knowledge that defied the laws the Empire relied on, as something that could disrupt their advanced sensors and weapons, something that might give humanity a fighting chance. As the Empire's ships continued their slow, inevitable march closer to Earth, fear mixed with a cautious hope. People everywhere watched the skies, wondering if this secret would be enough to save them, or if it was just a desperate hope against an unstoppable force. On the ground, ordinary men and women prepared for the worst. Cities enforced curfews, military forces were mobilized, and families said goodbye without knowing if they would see each other again. But even in the face of despair, the human spirit refused to break. Stories of bravery and determination spread like wildfire. People volunteered to defend their homes. Scientists worked around the clock, and leaders made hard decisions to unite for a cause greater than their differences. The Empire underestimated the strength of humanity's pride and resilience. They saw Earth as a weak and divided world, easy to conquer. What they did not realize was that beneath the surface, a hidden power was stirring something born not from technology alone, but from the deep connection between humans and their planet, a connection the Empire had never bothered to understand. As the first battle lines were drawn and the dark ships began to position themselves in orbit, Earth held its breath. The moment of reckoning was near, and the fate of the planet hung in a fragile balance. The Empire's ultimatum was clear, but so was humanity's response. They would not go quietly into the night. Something ancient and powerful was waking beneath their feet, ready to change the rules of war and prove that Earth, though small and seemingly fragile, held within it a strength that no empire could extinguish. The sky darkened not only with the shadows of warships, but also with the promise of something extraordinary, something that would soon make the Empire realize that Earth was far more than just another planet to conquer. The countdown to destruction had begun, but so had the countdown to resistance. Humanity stood on the edge of oblivion, yet ready to rise, united by hope and the mysterious power they had kept hidden for too long. The coming days would test them. beyond anything they had faced before, but they would fight, not just to survive, but to prove to the stars that Earth's spirit could never be broken. While the Empire's massive fleet loomed over Earth, casting an ever-growing shadow, the planet's political leaders were locked in endless meetings, trying to find any way to negotiate with a force that showed no mercy or willingness to listen. These discussions, full of tension and fear, revealed the deep divisions that still plagued humanity. But far beneath the surface, in hidden bunkers and secret underground bases, a very different kind of meeting was taking place. Here a group of Earth's finest minds and bravest warriors gathered not to negotiate, but to prepare for a fight that could change everything. These scientists, soldiers, engineers, and visionaries had been working quietly for years on a project known only as the Black. This was no ordinary technology. It was the culmination of decades of secret research, ancient knowledge rediscovered, and inventions that pushed the boundaries of what was possible. The Black was unlike anything the Empire had ever seen or imagined. It was a force tied deeply to Earth itself, a technology that could manipulate light and gravity in ways that defied every law the Empire trusted. Hidden in vast underground caverns where sunlight never reached, enormous machines hummed to life as the time for action drew near. The Black was awakening. This awakening was not simply mechanical. It was almost alive, responding to the urgency and desperation of the people above. Scientists monitored energy readings that seemed impossible waves bending around sensors. Shadows moving with purpose, gravity shifting in strange, silent pulses. Meanwhile, on the surface, the Empire tightened its grip. Patrols and drones scanned cities relentlessly, trying to find any sign of resistance or the secret weapon whispered about in hushed voices. But the Empire had no idea what waited beneath their feet. The Black was the silent guardian of Earth's deepest secrets. A shield woven from ancient knowledge and cutting-edge science. It had been designed not just to defend, but to change the very nature of battle. Soldiers trained in secret tunnels, learning to work with this mysterious power to bend the darkness and light to their will. Their training was rigorous, and the risks were high. Any mistake could mean disaster. But their determination was stronger than fear. The Coalition knew that if they failed, Earth would fall easily to the Empire's overwhelming force. Yet hope grew in those underground chambers. Each day, the Black's power became clearer, its potential more awe-inspiring. The project's leaders believed it could disrupt the Empire's advanced weapons, create illusions that could blind their sensors, and even alter gravity fields to protect entire cities from attack. These ideas had once seemed like science fiction, but now they were becoming reality. Outside, life carried on under the dark shadow of war. People hid in shelters, families held each other close, and soldiers prepared for battles they never wanted to fight. But even in this darkness, news of the Black spread quietly, inspiring. Courage, it was a symbol that humanity was not helpless, that beneath their fear and uncertainty, a new strength was rising. The Empire's commanders, arrogant and confident, dismissed the rumors at first. They believed their superior technology and vast numbers would crush Earth quickly. Yet with every failed strike, every unexpected resistance, their certainty began to waver. The Black's influence was growing like a shadow that could not be ignored. One night, deep within the underground command center, the project's lead scientist watched as the energy readings spiked suddenly. The Black was responding. It pulsed with power, darkening the lights in the control room, as if drawing strength from the planet itself. The moment had come to use the weapon, to show the Empire that Earth was not a prize to be taken without a fight. The scientists activated the Black's core systems, sending waves of energy upward. It's invisible but deadly to the Empire's sensors and weapons. Above ground, the Empire's ships faltered, their targeting systems confused by shifting shadows and strange gravitational fields. The silence of space was broken, not by explosions, but by an eerie calm, as if the very fabric of the battlefield had changed. This was the beginning of Earth's true resistance. From the shadows of fear and despair, humanity was stepping forward with a new kind of power. The Empire had demanded surrender, but Earth had answered with something it had kept hidden for centuries, something born from the very heart of the planet. The black was no longer just a secret. It was Earth's weapon, its shield, and its hope. The coming days would test the courage and resolve of all involved. But one thing was clear: the fight for Earth had changed forever. And the Empire would soon learn that the planet they thought was weak was anything but. The shadows of resistance had risen, and with them, a new chapter in humanity's story was about to begin. Without warning, the skies above Earth changed in a way no one could have predicted. What began as a subtle dimming quickly transformed into a vast, rolling darkness that spread like ink across the horizon, swallowing the sun's light and blotting out the stars. This was no ordinary eclipse. It was unnatural, a creeping shadow that twisted and moved with a strange life of its own. The Empire's mighty sensors, designed to detect the faintest heat signature or energy pulse from light years away, faltered in the face of this darkness. Their advanced targeting systems, once flawless, began to glitch and fail as the shadows shifted unpredictably. Warships that had once operated with perfect precision now stumbled blindly, their powerful weapons unable to lock onto their targets. The crews, trained for any battle, found themselves disoriented by an enemy they could not see or understand. Panic flickered behind their calm exteriors as reports came in of systems shutting down, communications dropping, and weapons misfiring. The Empire's overwhelming confidence cracked under this unexpected assault. On the surface, Earth's defenders watched the skies with a mixture of awe and hope. The black, that mysterious and ancient power buried deep beneath the planet, was showing its true strength. It had reached upward, manipulating light and gravity to create a shield of darkness so complete and so perfect that even the Empire's best technology could not pierce it. In the shadowed skies, Earth soldiers and pilots found new courage. Using the cover provided by the black, small but fierce teams launched daring counterattacks against the Empire's forces. Stealth fighters slipped through the darkness to strike at vulnerable points on enemy ships, while ground forces moved swiftly to reclaim territory that had been lost in earlier battles. The Empire's forces, unprepared for this new kind of warfare, scrambled to respond. Their powerful weapons, designed for open battle, became useless amid the swirling shadows. Their ships, massive and imposing, were now vulnerable, exposed to hit-and-run strikes that the darkness allowed. Communication between the Empire's commanders broke down as the chaos spread. The steady, controlled advance they had planned was shattered by fear and confusion. They realized too late that Earth was no longer just a planet to conquer. It was a force that could fight back in ways no one had imagined. The streets below echoed with the sounds of resistance. Civilians joined in, providing support, sharing information, and keeping morale alive. People no longer hid in fear, but stood together, inspired by the knowledge that their secret weapon was changing the course of the war. Across the world, from ruined cities to hidden bases, humanity's defenders pushed back against the invaders, their efforts coordinated by the leaders of the underground coalition, who now directed the battle with a steady hand and clear purpose. As the darkness deepened, strange things began to happen. Gravity shifted in unexpected ways, making the Empire's heavy ships struggle to maintain orbit and formation. Light bent around the edges of the black shadow, creating illusions that confused and disoriented enemy pilots. Sensors picked up phantom signals and false readings, making it impossible to tell friend from foe. The Empire's most advanced technology was undone by the very fabric of space and light, manipulated by a power as old as the planet itself. High above, the commanders on the Empire's flagship watched helplessly as their plans unraveled. There, pride turned to frustration and fear as the tide of battle slipped away from them. They called for reinforcements, new strategies. But nothing could break through the darkness that had become a wall between them and victory. Meanwhile on Earth, a young pilot named Myra flew through the shadowed skies, her heart pounding with a mix of fear and determination. She had trained for this moment to use the Black's cover to strike at the heart of the Empire's fleet. As she guided her fighter through the shifting darkness, she saw ships faltering ahead, their systems failing, and took her chance. With steady hands, she launched her attack, hitting a critical weapons array and watching it explode in a burst of sparks and fire. This small victory, one of many, spread quickly among Earth's forces. It was proof that the Empire's might could be broken. As the hours passed, the darkness showed no sign of lifting. Instead, it seemed to grow stronger, spreading across the skies like a living shadow. The Empire's ships, unable to operate effectively, began to retreat, forced back by a power they could not fight. The defenders seized this moment, pushing their advantage with fierce resolve. Earth was not just surviving, it was winning. Yet even in the midst of this success, the leaders of the underground coalition knew that the battle was far from over. The Black was a powerful weapon, but it required great energy and skill to control. It could not be held forever, and the Empire would not give up easily. They prepared for the next phase of the war, using the momentum gained from the darkness to strengthen their defenses and deepen their understanding of the Black's power. The skies might still be dark, but beneath the surface, a light was growing, one that would shine through the shadows and lead humanity toward a future no one had dared to dream of before. The moment when Earth's true strength was revealed had come, and with it, a message that echoed across the stars. Humanity would not surrender. Not now, not ever. The Black had darkened the skies, but it had also lit a fire in the hearts of all who called Earth home. The Empire's greatest test was only beginning. The planet's defenders stood ready to meet it with courage, hope, and a power that no enemy could ignore. The Empire, shaken by the unexpected resilience of Earth and the mysterious power known as the Black, refused to accept defeat. In a desperate attempt to uncover the secret behind this force, they intensified their efforts to capture those who seemed connected to it. During a covert mission, Empire soldiers successfully seized a key human operative, a brilliant and resourceful woman named Liana, who had been instrumental in managing communications between the underground coalition and the surface defenders. Bound and taken aboard one of the Empire's massive warships, Liana faced intense interrogation. The Empire scientists, confident in their advanced technology and psychological methods, demanded answers about the Black, hoping to unravel the source of Earth's unexpected strength and find a way to counter it. But Liana held fast, her resolve unwavering even under pressure. She knew the stakes were higher than ever, not just for herself but for all of humanity. After days of careful questioning and careful resistance, a breakthrough occurred, not from force, but from a fragile trust that began to form between Liana and one of the Empire's lead scientists, a man named Varric. Unlike many in the Empire, Varric was curious and cautious, willing to listen to Liana's story rather than dismiss it outright. Slowly, she revealed the origins of the Black, a secret hidden deep within Earth's past and connected to an ancient alliance of civilizations long thought lost to time. These civilizations had once mastered the fabric of space itself, using knowledge that allowed them to manipulate light, gravity, and the very structure of the universe. They had transcended war and conflict through wisdom and unity, creating a powerful network of technologies and philosophies that the Empire had never encountered. This alliance, known as the Celestial Concord, had left behind remnants of their power buried beneath Earth's surface, waiting for a time when humanity would be ready to awaken it. The Black was one such remnant, a living link to this ancient past, capable of bending reality in ways that defied the Empire's understanding and threatening their dominance. Varric, captivated by the depth of this knowledge and the possibility that the Empire might not be invincible, began to question everything he had believed. He shared what he learned with other scientists aboard the ship, sparking heated debates and growing doubts about the Empire's mission. Meanwhile, on Earth, Liana's confession gave new strength to the leaders of the underground coalition. Armed with this ancient wisdom, and inspired by the Celestial Concord's message of unity and peace, they worked harder than ever to bring together humanity's fractured nations. The old rivalries and divisions that had once weakened Earth began to fade as leaders recognized the importance of standing united against the Empire's final assault, combining their advanced technology with the secrets of the Black. Scientists and engineers developed new defenses and strategies, integrating ancient principles with modern ingenuity. This blending of past and present created powerful new weapons, and shields that enhanced Earth's ability to resist the Empire's overwhelming forces. The people of Earth, too, felt the change. Stories of the celestial concord and their ideals spread across cities and villages, inspiring hope and determination. Communities rallied together, supporting each other with renewed purpose, knowing that their fight was not just for survival, but for the legacy of those who had come before them, and for the future of all humanity. As the Empire prepared for what it promised would be the final and most brutal attack, Earth's defenders stood ready. The lessons of the past and the power of the Black had transformed their fear into strength, their desperation into resolve. Soldiers, pilots, and civilians alike, trained and prepared, knowing that this battle would decide the fate of their world. The sky, once darkened by the Empire's ships and then by the Black's shadow, now held a different meaning. It was a symbol of resilience and hope, of a people who refused to bow to oppression and who had found strength in their unity and history. When the Empire launched its assault, it was met with a force it had never expected, a force born not just of weapons and technology, but of courage, wisdom, and an unbreakable spirit. The battle was fierce and brutal, testing every skill and resource humanity had. But throughout the chaos and destruction, the Black pulsed with power, guiding Earth's defenders and disrupting the Empire's advances. The ancient knowledge that Liana had revealed proved invaluable, allowing Earth's people to anticipate and counter the Empire's strategies. In the end, the Empire's greatest weapon became its greatest weakness, as it underestimated the depth of Earth's secrets and the strength of its people's will. The fight was far from over, but Earth's future was no longer uncertain. Humanity had learned from the past, embraced its history, and stood united in the face of overwhelming odds. The secrets of the Black had illuminated a path forward, one where hope and strength combined to defy even the most powerful enemies. As the final battle loomed, the people of Earth were ready not just to survive, but to rise and claim their place among the stars. The final battle for Earth was like nothing the galaxy had ever witnessed. Across the skies and the scarred surface of the planet, the clash between humanity and the Empire erupted into a storm of light, shadow, and unyielding will. The Empire, desperate to crush the spirit that had risen against them, unleashed its most devastating weapons. Its weapons capable of tearing through mountains and vaporizing entire cities in moments. Massive warships hovered like dark gods over Earth's atmosphere, bombarding the surface with energy blasts that turned soil to glass and clouds to fire. Yet despite the overwhelming power raining down from above, Earth's defenders did not falter. Guided by the Black, that ancient and mysterious force pulsing beneath their feet and now mastering the skies, humanity moved with a precision and courage born from centuries of struggle and sacrifice. Pilots weaved through the unnatural darkness, their craft cloaked in shifting shadows that twisted the enemy's vision. Ground troops, hardened by relentless training and united by a common purpose, advanced through ruined landscapes, their hearts beating with the hope of all who had come before them. As the battle raged, the power of the Black grew stronger, responding to the will of those who wielded it. It bent light around Earth's ships and weapons, creating invisible shields that absorbed and redirected the Empire's deadly fire. Gravity shifted unpredictably under the feet of enemy soldiers, throwing their formations into chaos and disarray. Earth's own weapons, enhanced by the ancient technologies awakened within the Black, found weaknesses in the Empire's armor, striking with deadly accuracy and turning the tide of battle with every strike. The people of Earth, watching from underground shelters and hidden cities, held their breath as reports came in from the front lines. Each victory was hard-won, each loss deeply felt. Families sacrificed, heroes fell, and the cost of freedom weighed heavily on every heart. Yet through the darkness and destruction, a fire burned brighter than any weapon, humanity's unbreakable spirit. In the midst of the chaos, leaders of the underground coalition coordinated efforts with a calm that inspired confidence. They adapted quickly to the changing battlefield, using every advantage the Black offered to outsmart and outmaneuver the Empire's forces. Plans once thought impossible became reality. and small groups of defenders turned the tide in critical moments with bravery and ingenuity. Among the many heroes was Mira, the young pilot who had first struck a decisive blow when the skies darkened. Her courage became a symbol of the fight itself, inspiring soldiers and civilians alike. She flew daring missions that disrupted enemy supply lines, gave hope to desperate ground forces, and showed the galaxy that Earth was not to be underestimated. As the hours stretched into days, the Empire's overwhelming assault began to unravel. Their once perfect coordination broke down under the strain of the Blacks' interference and humanity's relentless counterattacks. Communications failed. Reinforcements arrived too late or not at all, and the giant warships found themselves vulnerable to attacks from all sides. The Empire's commanders, once so certain of victory, watched helplessly as their forces were pushed back, their mighty armada reduced to fragments scattered across the darkened skies. The turning point came in a moment of desperate sacrifice and unyielding hope. A squadron led by Mira, backed by a battalion of ground forces using the Black's gravity manipulation, launched a final bold strike against the Empire's flagship. The assault was brutal, with heavy losses on both sides, but it shattered the heart of the invasion. The flagship's destruction sent shockwaves through the Empire's fleet, forcing a retreat that had once seemed impossible. As dawn slowly broke through the lingering darkness over Earth, the skies cleared, revealing a world forever changed by conflict but unbroken in spirit. Cities stood, battered but proud, and across the planet, people stepped out into the new light with cautious hope and determination. Earth was no longer just a survivor of a brutal invasion, it was a beacon of strength and resilience shining across the stars. The story of the Black, of ancient wisdom and modern courage united, became a legend whispered in every corner of the globe. Humanity had proven that no matter the odds, no matter the darkness, their spirit could never be dimmed. The Empire, humbled and forced into retreat, was left to reconsider its arrogance and the meaning of true power. And for Earth, the battle was a beginning, not an end. A reminder that even in the face of overwhelming odds, hope, unity, and courage could light a path toward a brighter future. The people looked to the stars with new eyes, ready to face whatever came next, united as never before by the trials they had endured and the promise of a dawn that belonged to all of them.